Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and I'm here to teach you about League of Legends and specifically the laning phase of League of Legends. Now, there's really three when you're not looking at the start and end of the game. There's really three phases to the game. Those phases are laning, team fighting, but there's also roaming. But roaming is not typically used in normal League of Legends games. There is basically mostly used in like LCS because there's just a lot of teamwork and they basically know what they're doing. And so I'm just here to teach you about laning phase and how to approach it and how to farm safely, get that creep score up, and just how to handle battling against your opponent while you're trying to also farm and get gold, because the main component of laning phase is to get creep score, because you want to have that gold advantage. Because basically the main objective of the game is to, you guys already know, obviously you have some idea, is to destroy the Nexus. And in order to destroy the Nexus, your opponents and the towers are going to be preventing you from doing that. So how do you beat them? Well, one way is to get a gold advantage in the game. And the gold advantage, you get that by farming and getting kills. So when you have that gold advantage, you're going to start having an item advantage, because the more gold, the more items, the stronger you are. And with that item advantage, you have a much stronger chance of winning those team fights when that point in the game comes. And there's a lot of debate on when to end the laning phase, when to start the team fighting phase. That all depends on how you approach the game, because not every game is the same, and you also have a lot of different champions. So you want to be able to strategize and understand with your team composition. When's the best way what's the best decision to make? You know what I mean? And so when you have that item advantage, you're going to be able to take down towers, because you're going to get kills. That's going to put the enemy team on, death row, I guess. I don't know what to say. Basically, they're going to be out for a couple, 30 seconds. And League of Legends changes, if you die, during later the game, you die, you're out for a longer period of time. So when that happens, you'll be able to push towers, take them down, and eventually guarantee the game. Alright, now there's much more to discuss on, winning the game, because there's a pretty good amount of options on how to win the game. And it's not always having the better gold advantage, because, for instance, the enemy team can have a gold advantage and an item advantage over you. But if you have a strong team composition and just a better team fight, and you're just juking and landing all your attacks, and they're not, you're gonna win, and then you'll get the gold advantage, and then you'll win the game. So but let's just understand that you and your opponent are equal in your skills. So the gold advantage is the way to approach the game. But I'm gonna be focusing specifically on safe farming. Now, oh my gosh, I've seen a lot of players just do this poorly, because they don't really grasp that concept of safe farming. I'm going to even draw a little illustration for you. Okay, so when the game starts at 1 minute and 40 seconds, when you're at your tower, the enemy team's creeps are going to start showing up, and yours are going to show up. They're going to come at exactly the middle line right there all the time. Now it'll change because of pushing and all sorts of things that you can strategize and develop, and know which one's the best strategy to approach. Okay, but each Nexus sends out 6 creeps, and I don't know exactly the time, but now your goal is to safely farm all 6 of those creeps each time they come in to that lane. Now, the best way to do that, because you're going to have opponents on like here. You're like what? You're right here. Your opponents are here, and so they're going to be attacking you if you go up too close. So what do? Well, the thing that people don't understand is you only need to go up to the line of between the two sides of the creeps. That line, that invisible line between the two teams' creeps. You only need to go up to that line when you need a last hit. Okay, so you only need to go up to that line when you want a last hit, or you want to zone out your opponent, or you want to push for the tower. Okay, that's the only time. Okay, now when that's not the case, when there's nothing a last hit on the enemy team's creeps, you want to stay here. You want to stay behind the creep line, because if you're too close, guess what the enemy team's going to do? They're going to poke you, do damage to you. And if you think you're weaker than them and you're trying to exchange damage, you're going to lose, and you're going to become at a disadvantage, and you're going to have to work from then on to try to win the game. So you want to be able to make sure that you get good exchanges. Good exchanges. So the way to get good exchanges is to safe farm and only go up to the line when you want a last hit. Now there's a whole dance off between you, the enemy team, and you when last hitting. You want to be able to last hit and to juke their pokes or any damage they might be sending out. But the thing is, what's most important, okay? What's most important is it's very good to safe farm. Okay? It's very good, because the less time you're spending on that line, the safer you are, and the less damage you're going to be taking, and the more planning you can do, and the more you can utilize. Okay, here you go. So this is kind of the idea of what you want to be doing. Stay back here. When you need a last hit, you go up really quick. Be careful. Plan. Know what your opponents are doing. Try to guess what they're going to do. Try to guess where they're going to try to do damage to you. Try to avoid it. Go in, last hit, get out. Go in, last hit, get out. That's what you do. If you just want to farm safe, get that gold advantage up, get all those creep scores, you don't really want to attack them, you don't really want to do anything, because you know that if you do that, you're going to lose. Just go in, last hit, and get out. That's all you do. Okay, so what I see a lot of not so good players doing when they're trying to farm the creeps is they just stay right over here doing damage to their creeps, the enemy creeps. They just start doing damage to them. Guess what's happening? Enemy team sees that, and they're going to be doing damage to you. And what's going to happen is they're going to do damage to you, which puts you at a disadvantage in health, which then leads to a disadvantage in your lane. And with that disadvantage, you're not going to be able to hold that lane anymore, because you're going to be too low, and they're just going to engage on you, because they're going to see that opportunity to engage on you, because you're going to be low, probably like flash, ignite, combo their kit with whatever they have, and then kill you. So you want to be making sure you take as little damage as possible and get good exchanges. That's what you want to focus on, getting good exchanges, giving the enemy less opportunity to get good exchanges off of you, and then waiting for the right time to get good exchanges on them. Okay. I just want to stress the importance of safe farming. Safe farming is your main goal during laning phase. Getting kills, pushing for towers, all these are secondary and luxury goals, is what I want you to know. These are luxury goals. These are goals you only pursue if you think you're at a big enough advantage to do so. But the main goal, and to be safe, and it's basically called playing safe. But the main goal is you want to safe farm. So that's what I want you guys in your heads, circling in your heads all the time, because that's how you know when to let your enemy team push the lane. Because if you have a good frame of mind and with timing, you'd be thinking, oh, Shyvana just turned level 6 at this time, I believe. That happens in about 12 minutes or 13 minutes. She's going to be level 6. So I should probably ward and let the enemy team push my lane so I can safely farm and not get ganked. And because it's just a bad decision just to keep pushing your lane all the time. Okay, now there's two more parts that I want to talk to you about before we get to the end of the laning phase. And this first part is a little bit ambiguous in nature because it all depends on how you want to approach, your strategy for winning the game. There's lane freezing, there's you pushing the lane, and then there's you letting your enemy team push the lane. And you want to change between these strategies depending on multiple things. You need to be in the game and be seeing these things. I want you guys to be looking for these things, when to do this. One major reason for one major thing to look for is ganking, when the jungler is going to gank. Now the way to know when your jungler is going to get gank is to understand who that jungler is. If it's Kha'Zix or it's Rengar or it's Shyvana, they usually don't gank until level 6. You know what I mean? And so you usually don't have to worry about them until then. And that's when you want to properly ward. You know what I mean? Or that's when you want to let the enemy team push to your tower so you're safer. Because the bad idea to have is if you're pushing that and you're pushing your lane all the way to their tower, that really sets you open to be ganked, gank bait. So you only want to push your lane when you think you can take the tower. And you only want to, and the way to believe you can take the tower is when you know that their jungler is nowhere nearby, and you have a stronger advantage over them, and so you can easily push them out of lane, zone them out, and so that's what you do. Okay, and with all of that in your mind, I want to start getting now to the point where we reach the end of the laning phase. And the funny thing is, the end of the laning phase can be whenever you want. You can make that decision to end the laning phase whenever you want. But usually ending it too early is not a good idea. Ending that laning phase too early is not a good idea, and usually you don't have your entire team backed up with that decision. Usually if you want to end the laning phase early is to start team fighting, because you know that because sometimes with your team comp it'd be better to start that team fight phase sooner, because they have a bunch of champions that love to, on the enemy side, that just love to farm and get all those items and become monstrosities in game. You know what I mean? So you want to end that laning phase pretty quickly, get the critical items that you need, and then start team fighting. Now they're going to have their own strategies to prevent that. They're going to try practicing safe farming. They're going to try letting your minions push to their tower if they're smart. If they're smart, that's what they're going to do. But usually they don't really have that frame of mind, because there's this whole element of surprising. Like when you're making a decision on plan a strategy, they don't know what's in your head. So if you and usually when you're entering a game, you have no idea what your opponent's going to do. You have no idea what they're strategizing. So you have this whole element of surprise, and you can get a big advantage because you just catch them by surprise with your awesome, amazing strategy, because they didn't expect it. And so that's why I'm here to try to teach you to, better equip you. Okay. Now with that being said, with me saying that you can end the laning phase whenever you want, typically the laning phase on average in every game ends when you're trying to secure that first dragon, because that's going to be a big advantage for your team. So when you're trying to secure that first dragon, that's usually when the laning phase ends. That's usually when both teams decide that the laning phase is over and that we should all get together and have a huge clash. Now, this is not always the case. Every game is different. But that's usually when the laning phase ends. Okay. Now, a way to coalesce all this information so you'll be able to remember it is just to remember safe farming. is what you want to focus on during the laning phase. Just remember those two words: safe farming. Okay? And there's just so much more to discuss, honestly, because you can have different strategies all the time in different games. There's different champions, they have different kits, they have so many different, options. And so that's what leads to, fun games. So I'll be posting more videos discussing that even further detail, but in this video I just wanted to mainly focus on the key concepts during the laning phase. Not focus so much on the champions, because that would be a very, very long video. Alright, so I guess that just wraps it up for this video, and I thank you guys for watching. And if you feel that you've gained a better understanding of the laning phase in League of Legends, I would very much appreciate a like. It would be the best. Okay, and so this is Frosty Deeps, and thank you guys for watching. See you.